Top of the day, beautiful people. I forgot to turn my little, call my backlight. There we go. It seems to be a little bit better, so we don't have this whole little glow and stuff going on. All right, beautiful people. We back again. Happy Monday. It is March the 27th, 2023. We are beginning a new year. Today is day 1 of year 5. We're reading through books, laws, and prophets. And of the 5-year consecutive day count, it is day 1384. Today, we're going to read a little bit more on Owaspy in the book of Apollo, son of Jehovah. We're going to read chapter 12. We're going to read 12 and 13. We'll go ahead and knock out 2. And then we're going to jump over to the Holy Megillah, also known as the Secret Nazarite Scroll on page 25. And we're going to read chapter 6. I don't think we're going to have time to read any more than that today, but we'll see. Right? I think we're just going to get through one chapter this morning. But with that being said, Father, we thank you for forever progressing in all things. All right, y'all. So let's get going. Over here. All right. Everybody in the house already. Facebook user. I was looking again. I just have I don't know. It's not working for me. So Facebook user, when you come in and say greetings, if you're coming from a group, just say your name, right? Unless you like Facebook user, you like the incognito comments up here. It don't look like that in the Facebook group, but posting here, what we see is Facebook users. So top of the day to your Facebook users, all the Facebook users, because there's a few of y'all. I know it's like Misha, it's Nene. Sometimes Kevin come in over there. Trina sometimes. It's a few people that come in and out over there, right? Jamia, hey girl, hey Levon, blessings, Derek, Shalom, Avia, greetings, Hannah, Grand Rising, Auntie Grand Rising, and everybody else here already hanging out in the background. Top of the day to you. Let's get going. All right, chapter 12, Book of Apollo, Son of Jehovah, page 10. Is it a daddy long legs? Hold on, y'all. Oh, see, you know what? I just thought about that whole thing the other day. You know what? It's over there. It ain't mess with nobody. I'm gonna catch it in a little while and I'm gonna let it outside. Every time I see a fly or something now, I'm just like, you know what? Out the house, because I don't want to have to kill you. Look. Spiritual awareness and shalom, shalom. The one that's the last one Facebook using. All right, y'all. Let's get going. The rites of the resurrection were completed, the whole of which would make a book were the words written down. And as for the music, for which there were 500,000 singers and players, scarce a conception of it can be given to mortals. And when the light of the throne of God broke away a little, God announced 6 hours recreation, whereupon all the angels of Gal and of the Ethereal heavens mingled together joyfully. And after this, for behold, the end of the dawn of day had come. Apollo, mightiest of all, rose up and waved his hand in the sign in Jehovah's name and stood aside from the throne of God. After Apollo, Simead rose up and gave the same sign, followed by Phasia. And when these three stood aside, high raised on the floor of the throne, so that all the assembled millions could see them, so hushed were all things, like as if time had come to an end. Then filed in front of the 10,000 lords and lordesses, they who had once been false gods and false lords, and of the ancient times, arrayed in such gorgeous attire, now robed in plain white and without ornaments. The marshals opened the arches of the Atavacid, but not yet a soul moved from his or her place. Then great Apollo and Simead and Phasia came down and sat at the foot of the throne, more loved than all the gods who had as yet visited the earth and her heavens. God came down from the throne and took Apollo's hand, saying, Arise, O son of Jehovah, and go thy way. Apollo rose up, himself in tears, and stood aside. When God now took the hand of Simead, saying, Arise, O daughter of Jehovah, and go thy way. Let me read that again. When God now took the hand of Simead, saying, Arise, O daughter of Jehovah, and go thy way. Next he raised up the long tried Phasia, when lo, both he and God burst into tears and fell into each other's arms. Phasia, of a few words at most, was last to slack the fond embrace. And then he and great Apollo and Simead, light of heaven, broke loose and marched forth to the Etherean ship of fire. God resumed the throne, blinded by his tears. Now fell the mantles of Jehovah and his crowns on the 2,000 million brides and bridegrooms. The awakening light of the Etherean firmament bespoke Jehovah's awful presence. The hosts moved with one accord and presently entered into the Atavacid amidst a shower of Etherean flowers. The marshals signaled, for the dawn was ended. The bright Simead stretched forth her slender hand and arm to Jehovah, saying, By thy power, O Father, I command, arise, arise. Atavacid, arise. Remember, Atavacid is a ship of fire. And the mighty vessel and the vessel of Apollo adjoined arose up from Gal, rocking, rising, and moving to the music of a million trumpeters and singers, joined by the Esenars of the lower heavens. Higher and higher rose the Etherean fire ships, turning and rising, passing beyond the vortex of the earth, beyond Chinvat, out into the firmament of Ethera, higher and higher, till all was lost in the distance. Chapter 13, the Book of Apollo, Son of Jehovah, page 108. We'll read it from their lowest edition, also called Big Blue. Jehovah spake in the light of the throne of God, saying, To the council of Gal, heaven of my heaven, hear ye the words of your Creator, O my beloved. Sing songs to Apollo and his lords. Let my people rejoice, for the glory of my Son is upon them. From my kingdom is the light and the life. Out of my wisdom Apollo hath come. Sing to him, O ye lords of heaven, and give my angels rejoice in his name, for he shall abide forever. Hold on. I'm saying Simead. Hold on, y'all. I am tired. Bear with me. I ain't even been asleep. I've been up working on paper and stuff. I gotta stop the foolishness, y'all. I know y'all can tell. Figure my eyes was gonna brighten up a little bit. I juiced me like 6 oranges and a grapefruit. Drunk some water. I'm like, I'll be all right. But after this, I gotta go lay down for a little bit. I ain't got nothing to do really today. It's about 10:30. I gotta catch me a nap. I gotta do something. Okay, let me just start the chapter over. Jehovah spake in the light of the throne of God, saying, To the council of Gal, heaven of my heaven, hear ye the words of your Creator, O my beloved. Sing songs to Apollo and his lords. Let my people rejoice, for the glory of my Son is upon them. From my kingdom is the light and the life. Out of my wisdom Apollo hath come. Sing to him, O ye lords of heaven. Let my angels rejoice in his name, for he shall abide forever. Created I him for the glory of angels and men. In his idols and images shall my people behold the harmony of my beloved. With mine own hands molded I the ankles and feet and well-rounded thighs. Behold the arms of my Son, no longer than to the thighs, with dimples and small wrists. His neck is straight and slender, and smooth and round, like the higgin on an altar, and his shoulders like hewn stone, polished and tapering, like a woman's who goeth not to war. His instep is high. He can spring like a deer, swift as the wind. He sitteth not on his hunches all day, with his hands down, like a droop that is tired, waiting for food. He fleeteth to the plain and the forest on his swift feet. Proclaim ye Apollo in heaven and on earth. He is risen. Higher than the sun is the holy begotten of Jehovah. Out of the virgin me is he come, holy in symmetry and music. There is none like Apollo. She was my betrothed from the foundation of the world, spouse of your Creator, O God. Her name was me, mother of mine holy begotten Son, and me is another name for the earth, right? Mother Earth. the earthly mother. They were without shapeliness before me. They lolled about on earth. They lolled in heaven on their haunches, waited they hungrily. The virgin bowed down, for her firstborn was the Redeemer of the world. In stone and wood and copper and gold and silver, he is stronger than 10 cities and wiser than 10,000 men. He cometh to the young mother's dream and shapeth her unborn with limbs like a racer and with long hair on the head. He standeth in the idol, and knoweth the mother's prayer every day. Who calleth on the name Apollo, calleth on the Father, creator of all things. Blessed are the lords of Apollo. Blessed are the sons and daughters of Apollo. Blessed are they that bring forth in shapeliness like my son Apollo. This mark have I put up before all women under the sun, the young women before marriage, and before the young men before marriage. Choose ye of them in the likeness of Apollo, your heirs shall glorify your Creator. Apollo is my judge. He sitteth on my right hand. Swifter than an arrow is his judgment on a woman's firstborn. And that is the end of chapter 13. And that's when we pause. That was pretty quick, huh? It's page 104 to page 107 to page 108. Chapter 12 and 13. All right, moving right along. Where we at? 13 minutes. 6:32. I don't know. We might get to read a little bit more than chapter 6 today. Let's see. Page 25. Boom. There we go. Dawn, what's good? And everybody else came in while I was reading. Tikva. Hey, girl. Hey. Iman, shalom, shalom. Mom, shalom. Marlene, peace and grand rising. Just me, Creator, bless you. All right, y'all. Chapter 6 is entitled The Great Dance of Jade and Janah. It was ordained by Jah that Jade and Janah would be saviors of the children of the mother ovum. For it would be through the merciful intervention of Lord Christ and Lady Christ that Jah would intervene in the pain of evolving beings and the world. So, quick recap. Remember, Jah is Jah and Jala, Heavenly Father, earthly mother, right? And from them emanated the first directly begotten son and daughter. So from Jah's essence, he created Jade. And from Jala's essence, she created Janah. So we have Jah, which is Jah and Jala, right? It's Elohim. It's the combination of the male and female energies. Jah and Jala, or Jah, or you can say Jala, Jah, or just Jah, right? Because it still encompasses all. Jade is the directly begotten son that emanated directly from the Father. Janae is the only directly begotten daughter of the mother, right? Which makes them compatible to actually bring their flesh together to reproduce, because they're not brother and sister, right? Okay, that was kind of explained yesterday. All right. It was ordained by Jah that Jade and Janah would be saviors of the children of the mother ovum, for it would be through the merciful intervention of the Lord Christ and Lady Christ that Jah would intervene in the pain of evolving beings and worlds. So Lord Christ would be Jade and Lady Christ would be Janah. Okay. Verse 3. Yea, for this purpose, Jah anointed the Lord and Lady with the oil from the tree of life, which oil is the water of life. But behold, it was also ordained by Jah that Jade and Janah would be the father god and mother goddess of the children of the mother ovum. And it was ordained in the plain of Jah, which was engraved within Jade and Janah, that the mother ovum would be a universe of space, time, number, letter, form, elements, and principles in which the children of the mother ovum would play, learn, and work. Thus, the first duty of Jade and Janah was that of creation. Yea, the dance of creation was their dance. Before the beginning of their dance, the mother ovum was Bohu, a dark void of desolate emptiness. Matter of fact, the first time I heard bohu and tohu, it actually introduces these terms in Legends of the Jews. So when we read that, I was like, oh, this is amazing. I'd never heard it before. A few people had, but that was my first time when I was reading it out loud. That was the first time I had even been introduced and understood what that was. Okay. And after bohu is reference number 1. And at the bottom it says bohu is a Hebrew word that means void or emptiness. And this void was tohu, without form. And after tohu is reference number 2. 2 at the bottom says tohu is a Hebrew word that means formless. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to reread verse 8 and 9 again. Before the beginning of their dance, the mother ovum was bohu, a dark void of desolate emptiness. And this void was tohu, without form. And this void was dark because there was yet no bahir, no light of illumination. And after bahir is reference number 3. And at the bottom it says the Hebrew term bahir means light of illumination. The Hebrew word aur means light, and is often spelled in English or. But because that spelling is the same as the English word or, we prefer the equally acceptable and less confusing transliteration aur. The Hebrew word bahir means illumination. Okay. And this void was dark because there was yet no bahir, no light of illumination. And this void was desolate because the Spirit of Yah was with Elohim in Zimzum. Then bursting outward in ecstasy from Zimzum into Bohu, the spiral dance of creation began. Behold, Elohim Karim. And after Karim is reference number 4, and Karim is spelled Karim. And number 4 says at the bottom, the Hebrew word karar. Did I say? Yeah, okay, it's karim up there. Okay. The Hebrew word karar, Karar, means dance. The plural form used here is karim, Karim. Literally, the word means whirl, Whirl, and implies a spiral dance. Isn't that what our DNA does? Right? Even when we look at DNA molecules and you look at the spiraling sequences and everything, they dance. I just thought about that. Okay. The Hebrew word karar means dance. The plural form used here is karim. Literally, the word means whirl and implies a spiritual dance. Thus, the term Elohim karim, Elohim dances, implies a spiral dance of the masculine and feminine principles giving birth to creation. That is good. That is good. It is another vortex, isn't it? The spiral dance vortex. Audrey, shalom. Tabitha, shalom. The artist, shalom, sis. Okay, let's go back. Go back up to the top. Verse 15. Elohim dance the Korar Ha-Ur, the dance of light, a whirling motion with the sound of a hum. And the hum of the light dance is the music of their dance. And the music of their dance is one with the lyrics of their song. And those lyrics are the words sung by they who dance. And they who dance are Jadeh and Janah, our God and Goddess eminent, Elohim. And the lyrics they sing while they dance the dance of light are the words of light, Yehi are, which is to say, let there be light. Oh, that takes on a whole new meaning in Genesis. Oh, snap. Hold up, listen. And the lyrics they sing while they dance, the dance of light, are the words, Yehi or Yehi, Yehi, R. Yehi R, which is to say, let there be light. Lo, Elohim saying, let there be light, and there was light. And Elohim knew that the light was good. And when the light entered Bohu, the darkness of the void, the light comprehended the darkness, but the darkness comprehended not the light. And the spiral dance was the Sarah, S-A apostrophe A-R-A-H, the whirlwind. And the spiral dance was the Sarah, the whirlwind. And after Sarah or Sa'ara, S-A apostrophe A-R-A-H, Sa'ara. Okay. And the spiral dance was the Sa'ara, the whirlwind. And reference number 7 for Sa'ara says, the Hebrew word Sa'ar or Siara means whirlwind. The Nazarenes give it a feminine ending by adding H, Sa'ara. This is not simply an ordinary whirlwind, but a mystical creative whirlwind involving the breath of life. Okay, go back to verse 25. And the spiral dance was the Sa'ara, the whirlwind, and the whirlwind was the breath of Yah upon the void, the air of being blowing upon the void of non-being. And from the Sa'ara came forth sparks of light, Nizot Ha'ur. And that's reference number 8 after Nizot Ha'ur. And down at the bottom it says, the Hebrew word Nizot, N-I-T-Z-O-T, means sparks. The Hebrew ha is the definite article, often serving as the and often serving as the and here serving as of. Okay, let me read that again. The Hebrew word nizot means sparks. The Hebrew ha is the definite article, often serving as the, and here serving as of, of. The Hebrew word R means light. Okay, let's go back up. Verse 27. And from the Sa'ara came forth sparks of light, Nizot Ha'or, and each spark of light is a seed of light, a Zera Ha'or, Zerahaur, and it's reference number 9. And 9 at the bottom says, the Hebrew word Zera, Zera, means seed. The same word is used for semen. That is interesting. That's interesting. Listen. Oh, I'm running the scriptures in Genesis through my head real quick. Okay. I'm going to go back to verse 27. And from the Sa'ara came forth sparks of light, Nizot Ha'or, and each spark of light is a seed of light, a Zera Ha'or, and each seed of light is a soul. And each seed of light is a soul, a nefesh, a spiritual being. And nefesh, Nephesh, is reference number 10. And 10 at the bottom says, the Hebrew word for nefesh literally means breath, but by extension means soul, the self, the immaterial part of a person. Go back up. Verse 29, we're on page 26. In the Nazarene book of Genesis. Okay. Verse 29. And each seed of light is a soul, a nefesh, a spiritual being. Behold, Elohim created each being in the embryonic image and likeness of Elohim, male and female, each wearing Yah as a crown of glory. It's the crown. And the image is manifest in the attributes. Yea, Jadeh and Janah dance their dance of creation. In the balance of their embrace, they dance. And always the center of their dance was Yah, which is I am, which is their oneness, which is the crown of glory. Lo, their balance was not without motion, it was balanced in motion. He spun around her and she around him, and always they were centered in Yah. Lo, Yah is the center of the all and of every aspect of the all. Yah is the center of the masculine aspect and the feminine aspect. For behold, those aspects exist for the expansion of Yah and the bliss of Yah according to the gracious wish. And this is Yahweh. Yea, Yahweh is the great dance of creation. Jade and Janah danced in ecstasy. The dance of Jade and Janah was according to the divine plan of Jaja. Jade and Janah knew that the mother ovum was to be a sphere symbolized by the circle, and they danced that dance. Lo, the void of the potential space. Lo, the void of potential space became the sphere of actual space. And they knew that the point at the center of the sphere, the point symbolized by the Yod, Y-O-D, and after Yod is reference number 11, and Yod says at the bottom, Yod is the 10th letter of the Hebrew alphabet and looks like a spark or a flame, which is also the crown, right? And Yahweh, when you flip it parallel, that's the Yod. Okay. I'll just start at the beginning of 41. The dance of Jade and Janah was according to the divine plan of Jaja. Jade and Janah knew that the mother ovum was to be a sphere symbolized by the circle, and they danced that dance. Lo, the void of potential space became the sphere of actual space, and they knew that the point at the center of the sphere, the point symbolized by the Yod, which is the crown of Yah, would be the center of every ovum within the mother ovum. And they danced that dance, and it was so. Even in our body, what it just said, it is the center, right down the center of our body. And at the top is the crown. There's a physical crown, but along the invisible parts that we can't see, within the matter of fact, the brain is a crown, but within the unseen vortexes, with the spiraling swirls of energy that run along down our spine from the crown, from the root to the crown, the top one here is also the crown, but that crown actually opens up into the bigger ovum of wisdom of our Creator. And they knew that the point at the center of the sphere, the point symbolized by the Yod, which is the crown of Yah, would be the center of every ovum within the mother ovum. And they danced that dance, and it was so. And they knew that the expansion of being, which is Yahweh, is symbolized by the sacred triangle, in which the first point emanates 2 points, a masculine point and a feminine point, forming a trinity that will birth countless trinities, each trinity in the image and likeness of the first trinity, each centered in Yah, and they dance the dance of the sacred triangle. Also in Owaski, it talks about the sacred triangle. It is the heirloom that is passed down by the gods as they take rulership of the earth and her heavens. It's the sacred heirloom all the way through Owaski. They pass it down, right? Verse 48. Lo, the motion of their dance wove a tapestry of geometric shapes and numerical patterns, and shapes and patterns within shapes and patterns, and all shapes and patterns were within the sphere, which is the mother ovum. Behold, they danced the dances of 5 polyhedrons of perfect symmetry. And the first of those 5 dances was the dance of the sacred tetrahedron of 4 faces, four vertices, and 6 edges. For the tetrahedron is the expression of the sacred triangle in its expansive power as the Trinity that becomes Trinities. So go back up, and after they dance, the dances of the 5 polyhedrons of perfect symmetry is reference number 12. And 12 at the bottom says, in the original Hebrew manuscript on which this English translation is based, the geometric terms that appear in this paragraph are in Greek. That is due to the fact that the Essenes of Alexandria, who, according to Philo, revered sacred geometry, were for many centuries the custodians of the original manuscripts and were in charge of making copies. Greek at that time was the most prominent language in Alexandria and was the best language for describing mathematics and sacred geometry. While Biblical Hebrew is the primary language of this manuscript, a number of Greek and Aramaic words crept in over the centuries, and even several Hebrew words from the Middle Ages were added by the copyists of that period. All right, so I'll read verse 49 again and we'll keep going. Behold, they danced the dances of the 5 polyhedrons of perfect symmetry. And the first of those 5 dances was the dance of the sacred tetrahedron of 4 faces, 4 vertices, and 6 edges. For the tetrahedron is the expression of the sacred triangle in its expansive power as the Trinity that becomes Trinities. And the second of those 5 dances was the dance of the sacred hexahedron of 6 faces, 8 vertices, and 12 edges. And the third of those 5 dances was the dance of the sacred octahedron of 8 faces, 6 vertices, and 12 edges. And the fourth of those 5 dances was the dance of the sacred dodecahedron of 12 faces, 20 vortices, and 30 edges. And the fifth of those 5 dances was the dance of the sacred icosahedron of the 20 faces, 12 vertices, and 30 edges. 30 edges. Yea, the 5 polyhedrons of perfect symmetry within the sphere, added to the sphere, make 6 sacred geometries, but all 6 have their origin in the first point, and the point added to the 6 makes the 7 most sacred geometries. Now I know I just lost most of y'all, especially if you're not good with word problems and math, right? It just went in one end out the other, but just bear with us. Okay, so after the 5 polyhedrons of perfect symmetry within the sphere is reference number 13. And 13 at the bottom says, to see drawings of the 5 polyhedrons of perfect symmetry, see expanded footnote number 5, the 5 polyhedrons of perfect symmetry at the back of this book. So y'all know we got to go there, right? So let me keep my place. Actually, right here, 56. What did it say? Footnote 5. Expanded footnote number 5. Trina, hey girl, hey. Expanded footnote 2. Footnote 6. Okay. All right, it's on page 1110 if you have the newer version. Somebody, if you're reading it from the older version, throw the page number in there if you got it. Okay. The 5 polyhedrons of perfect symmetry are well described in the text of the Holy Megillah. In the footnote that accompanies that section of the text from Matanah, additional information is provided, and the reader is directed to this expanded footnote 5 to see the drawing of the 5 polyhedrons of perfect symmetry. Those drawings are provided below. Okay, and I'm going to show it to you, but I'm going to read it first. It's going to start with the triangle one. That's the sacred tetrahedron. Then it goes to the square box looking one, which is the sacred hexahedron. Then it goes to the pyramid. Actually, it looks like a triangle pyramid, but it actually looks like a Merkaba, right? So you have 2 triangles which sit on top of one another. Merkaba or whatever, the ovum, the egg. They call it quite a few things. But to me, the way this is designed, it looks like a swirling Merkaba, right? So that's the sacred octahedron. Then you have the sacred dodecahedron, and then you have the sacred icosahedron. Icosahedron. Did I say that wrong? Icosahedron. Y'all get it? Okay, here you go. Right there. You see it? I hope the words aren't backwards. As we go, I get a lot better where I'll be able to, well, actually, I would need to have this. I would probably need to use the PDF from the old one to be able to bring this up on the screen where you can see it. And I ain't got to be lifting up the book and stuff. Okay, that was the end of that footnote. Let's go back to the front. Jerry Love and Light, Nene Haker. Hey, shalom, sis. Okay, page 29. We're still in chapter 6 of the Nazarene book of Genesis, verse 56. Lo, within the sphere of the sacred seven, the dance of the geometries and numerical patterns continued. Yea, the geometries and the numerical patterns combined and merged, mated and gave birth to other sacred geometries and patterns. And those geometries and patterns were the expressions of the divine principles of form and space. And we get a lot of this math stuff also in the book of Cosmogony and Prophecy found in Owaspy. If y'all don't have an Owaspy, you need to get you a copy. You can get it from Amazon, and if you're a Prime member, you will get it a few dollars cheaper than $30, but the regular normal price is about $30. Get you a copy. All right. Verse 57, yea, the geometries and numerical patterns combined and merged, mated and gave birth to other sacred geometries and patterns. And those geometries and patterns were the sacred expressions of the divine principles of form in space. For Elohim desired to prepare a home for the children of Yah, and that home was a maze of geometries, making many homes within the one home that is the mother ovum. It's math everywhere, like everything. Look around, wherever you're sitting at, you got math all around you. The way your house was built, everything is math. This island that I'm standing at is math, right? You got measurements and size and shapes and all that good stuff. For Elohim desired to prepare a home for the children of Yah, and that home was a maze of geometries, making many homes within the one home that is the mother ovum. Yea, the mansion of the mother ovum is many homes that are one home. And for each child of Elohim, Elohim has prepared a place. And when a child pierces one ovum, that child moves. Oh, hold on. What's the note for the live, y'all? I could do that, couldn't I? I could. Okay. A little bit of wisdom from a mom. Until I learned how to do like the whatever, she said I can take a picture and snap it beforehand of what we're going to come across. That way I already have it saved in here. Then boom, I can just share the screen. That's smart. You thinking, sis. You thinking. All right. Okay. Hold on. Let's go back to reading. Let me just read from 59 again. For Elohim desired to prepare a home for the children of Yah, and that home was a maze of geometries, making many homes within the one home that is the mother ovum. Yea, the mansions of the mother ovum is many homes that are one home. And for each child of Elohim, Elohim has prepared a place. And when a child pierces one ovum, that child moves to the next ovum. And when a child pierces even the mansion of the mother ovum, that child will enter heaven most high. And the Korar yet Zara, Zira yet Zara, Yetzirah, and the Korar yet Zara, which is the dance of formation, was not only of geometry, but also letters and numbers. And Korar yet Zara is reference number 14 at the bottom, And it says the Hebrew word korah means dance. The Hebrew word yetzirah means formation. The term korah yetzer means dance of formation. The English word of is often simply assumed in the Hebrew. And the Korah Yetzirah, which is the dance of formation, was not only of geometry, but also letters and numbers. Ye, Jade, and Janah are Elohim, dance, Sefer Hachim, which is the book of life. And Sefer Hachim is reference number 15. I ain't even saying it right with the in my throat. Sefer Hachim. And it says the Hebrew word sefer means book. Matter of fact, do y'all have a sefer? When I went from my Holy Bible, all my King James and all that stuff, I moved into the sefer, but they spell it Cepher, which is a really good rendition of it, right? And it moves into using more of the Hebrew text. So actually, we read through the Sefer as well. You know what? Once we got through going through the King James version, then we did the New Living Translate version, then we did the Sefer version. This was a while ago. Okay, y'all got one? Okay, Elijah, what's going on, brother? Okay, let's go back up. Verse 66. Yea, Jade and Janah are Elohim. Dance, Sefer Hachim, which is the book of life. And the book of life was written with sacred letters and sacred numbers. Behold, the letters of that dance are 22 in all their combinations. And the numbers of that dance are 10 in all their combinations. Lo, the 10 and the 22 make one sefer, book, which is seper, communication, from one sa'ara, whirlwind. Behold, the 22 otiyot kedoshat, kedosho. I can't pronounce the Hebrew stuff either. Otiyot kedosho, maybe the T is silent, I don't know. Which is to say, sacred letters from one Sa'ara. And after Otiyot Kedosho is reference number 16. And 16 at the bottom says, the Hebrew word Otiyot means letters. The Hebrew word Kedoshot means sacred. According to the Nazarene tradition, the Nazarenes were the first to use the vowel dots and the type of letters that we know as Biblical Hebrew. Mainstream Judaism used a much more primitive version of this alphabet until eventually adopting the Nazarene form. Mainstream scholarship does not recognize that fact, as mainstream scholars have not been made privy to Nazarene tradition or historical records. All right, just me, enjoy your day. So right here, it goes through all the letters, right? The Hebrew letters, and I'm gonna just show them to you real quick. And all of y'all should be familiar with these for the most part. Make sure I'm holding this crooked and sideways. Okay. And I'm going to go through them and I'm going to read them. So you have three creators, which is the Mem, Shem, and Aleph. Then you have the seven doubles, Bebet, Gimel, Gimel, Dalet, Dalet, Kaf, Kaf, Pe, Pe, Resh, Resh, Tav, Tav, and then the 12 spokes, Hey, Vav, Zayin, Het, Tet, Yod, Lamed, Nun, Semek, Ayin, Zadi, Kuf. And then you have, behold, the three creators, Mem, Shem, Shin, Aleph. And if you paid attention to Psalms, I think it's Psalms 119. Psalms 119 is the longest chapter in the book of Psalms, and it's broken up into 8 verses all the way through. And the title of each section is the letter of Hebrew, right? So you have Mem, Aleph, Shem, Zadi, like all of that. If you ever paid attention to it, go check it out. Okay. Verse 73 on page 31. The three creators of the creative letters, Mem, hums, is the calming and cooling. Mem, M-E-M, is the feminine principle manifesting as primal water. And after primal water is reference number 17. And 17 says, notice the prominence of the letter M in the Hebrew word for water, mayim. Notice the similarity in the sound of the Hebrew letter mem and the word mayim. The text stated that mem hums, M-E-M space hums, H-U-M-S, mem hums. Mem hums and is calming and cooling. Note that the letter M is the prominent sound when you hum. Hum. Mem hums. Right? Make sure you're pronouncing it right. The text stated that mem hums and is calming and cooling. Note that the letter M is the prominent sound when you hum, and that the sound and act of humming is inherently calming. Also note that the Hebrew word used here for hum is damam, which is the letter mem. M is dominant. Thus, mem represents feminine principle that is more peaceful and receptive than the masculine principle, which tends to be more active and assertive. Neither is better than the other. Rather, it takes the two to tango. Without the masculine active principle, none of us would exist. Primordial being would simply have remained passive. Without the calming feminine principle, we would never relax and enjoy being. Each man and woman should balance the two principles within, which is the marriage or the intercourse of Jadeh and Janah. Jadeh and Janah are both completely balanced because they are in perpetual embrace, which is an inner condition and not a physical act. Okay, go back up. Verse 74. Mem hums and is calming and cooling. Mem is the feminine principle manifesting as primal water. Primal water is mayim hashamayim, the water of heaven. Shin hisses like fire and is active and warming. Shin is the masculine principle manifesting as primal fire. Primal fire is Esh ha-shamayim, the fire of heaven. And Esh ha-shamayim has reference number 18 after it, and 18 at the bottom says, the Hebrew word Esh, E-S-H, means fire. Notice the S-H at the end of the word Esh. Shin, S-H-I-N, is a Hebrew letter that represents the sh, S-H sound. Notice the hissing of the sound of shh. That hiss, shh, 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 represents the sound of fire burning. Fire and the letter shin are both considered active and masculine. Notice that the Hebrew word for heaven, shamayim, has within it both the masculine principle shin and the feminine principle mem. Thus, if we wish to experience heaven, we must likewise balance both principles within us, right? And I like what Dawn said, meditation. Meditation brings us to a perfect balance if we're consistent with it and we learn how to do it, right? Okay, verse 78 at the top. Shin is the masculine principle manifesting as primal fire. Primal fire is Esh Hashamayim, the fire of heaven. Aleph is the Kether, the crown of Yah, manifesting as the primal air of being that emanates, animates, and meditates the masculine and feminine aspects for the purpose of creative expansion, which is Yahweh in fulfillment of the gracious wish. Let me read it again. I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna read the footnotes, but let me read it through one more time. Aleph is the kether, the crown of life, manifesting as the primal air of being that emanates, animates, and meditates and mediates the masculine and feminine aspects for the purpose of creative expansion, which is Yahweh in fulfillment of the gracious wish. And after Aleph is reference number 19, and 19 says, Aleph is the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, thus it naturally represents the primordial beginning that is Yah. Also, unlike any English letter, Aleph is a silent letter represented by a breath of air. Thus, it represents the primal air of being. When Aleph becomes active for the purpose of creation, it is often symbolized by the letter Yod for the following reason. Yod is the first letter of the name of Yah, and it looks like a spark or flame. Thus, the idea of Yah, Aleph, becoming active, fire. But Yah, Aleph, is not to be considered either male or female, but rather the source of both. That truth is seen in the Hebrew spelling of the name Yah. It consists of two Hebrew letters, Yod, which represents the active fire male element within Yah, and He, which represents the feminine principle. He, H-E-H, is typically the last letter in Hebrew words of feminine gender. Thus, Yah is neither male nor female, but contains both. Even when the letter Yod is placed in the center of a circle to symbolize Yah in the mother ovum, the feminine principle is there as well. The space or air within the circle is the mother ovum in which the fire burns. Then you have Kether, which is reference number 20. The Hebrew word Kether means crown. While the word Kether can be used to indicate a physical crown by a worldly king, Nazarenes often use the word to refer to the crown chakra, the seat of the spiritual I am. A second Hebrew term for crown is code. Q-O-D, code. Okay. A second Hebrew term for crown is code. This term refers specifically to the top of the head or the crown of the head, not a physical crown worn on the head. Read that again. A second Hebrew term for crown is code. This term refers specifically to the top of the head or the crown of the head, not a physical crown worn on the head. Nazarenes use this term code in a spiritual sense. It is the top of the head, code, that bows lowest when we bend over from the waist in humility before Jaja, and only then can we realize the Kether. Thus, we must first manifest the crown of humility, code, before we can realize the crown of nobility, Kether. A third Hebrew word for crown used by the Nazarenes is Nezer, Nezer. Although that word can be used to refer to a physical crown worn by a king, it is more often used for the crown of hair worn by many Nazarites, right? My Nazarite brethren and sister, no. Listen. It is more, hold on. Oh, that's the end of that one. Okay, let me just read the last sentence again. Although, a third Hebrew word for crown can be used by the Nazarenes as is Nezer. Although that word can be used to refer to a physical crown worn by a king, it is more often used for the crown of hair worn by many Nazarites, right? And a part of the Nazarite vow is that you do not cut your hair, because that is your vow that you wear upon your head as you dedicate yourself to Creator, right? I've adjusted that Nazarite vow, right? I still think it's I say it's a valid vow in the aspect, not that at the end I'm slicing up animals and doing all that. I ain't doing none of that, right? But it brings in a certain type of discipline that I realize, right? A vow that you make to Creator, and you get to choose. You get to choose the length of it, how long, and your reason behind it. And a man or a woman can take it, right? So that's one of the things I kept from the Bible, because I've seen some, for lack of a better word, magic happen with it. And it's not so much the vow, and because it's found in the Bible, I think it's a dedication that truly comes from the heart, that you submit yourself to a discipline to allow for spiritual growth, right? So I'm growing in that aspect a lot, being able to look past some of the stories and even some of the things that they may have added and taken away, even the garbage. I'm able to take it, look at it, see it for what it is. Okay, if it's garbage, is there anything, any kind of lesson that I can take from it, where I can grow, where I can add more balance and discipline to myself, even in ways not to go, right? It can be good wisdom. Well, it can only be good wisdom if you take it and apply it to your life, because it'll teach you what to do or what not to do. And that's what I've chosen to do with all the information that comes across my path nowadays. I have completely, not completely, but I've done a whole 180 from where I've been along my religious road of growth, if you want to say that, or my spiritual growth. Let's say that. I hate the word religion. Cosmine Cow, what's going on, brother? All right, y'all. So go back up, verse 80. We're on page 31, Nazarene Book of Genesis, chapter 6. Verse 80 says, Aleph is the Kether, the crown of Yah, manifesting as the primal air of being that emanates, animates, and mediates the masculine and feminine aspects for the purpose of creative expansion, which is Yahweh in the fulfillment of the gracious wish. The air of being is Yah, and even Jannah, the holy breath, has her life in Yah. For Yah is being, which is primal air, which is Aleph. Yea, breath is an expression of air and is dependent on air for breath. Without air is not a breath of life, but a breath of death. Let me read it again. Okay. The air of being is Yah, and even Jannah, the holy breath, has her life in Yah. For Yah is being, which is primal air, which is Aleph. Yea, breath is an expression of air and is dependent on air. For a breath without air is not a breath of life, but a breath of death. And even Jadeh, the holy word, is dependent upon Yah, the spiritual air of being. For a spoken word without air is not a word of life, but a word of death. Behold, even as earthly water and earthly fire depend on earthly air for their life, so do primal water and primal fire have their life in primal air. And after earthly fire depend on earthly air for their life, after life is reference number 21. And 21 at the bottom says, both water, H2O, and fire need oxygen to exist. And that's a really interesting fact. Nazarene is seeing, have a wonderful day. All right. Verse 85, but so does Aleph, the primal air of being, depend on its masculine and feminine emanations for the creative expansion of being, yea, and for the bliss of one another, which is the bliss of the lover and the beloved, which is the fulfillment of the gracious wish. Elohim danced the dance of the letter Aleph and ordained that it designate primal air, which is the air of being, or the angel of air, right? They sing gospel of peace. And Elohim made Aleph to sit as a crown atop the head of each living soul. And after living soul is reference number 22. 22 at the bottom says, in Hebrew, living soul is nefesh chaya. In this context, nefesh means soul and chaya means living. Verse 86, Elohim danced the dance of the letter Aleph and ordained that it designate primal air, which is the air of being. And Elohim made Aleph to sit as a crown atop the head of each living soul. And lo, every being shall wear Aleph as a crown. And the crown has 7 points, as the tree of life has 7 branches. And each point of the crown is adorned with a jewel, each a precious stone of a different color, each stone symbolizing the fruit of the branch, symbolized by each point of the Kether HaKodesh, which is the Holy Crown. Even the Eastern society, Eastern part of the world, when you look at the crown and the chakras along the tree of life or the spinal column, there, when you look at it, it's in color, and each color represents something, right? The vortices, the swirling pools of energy. And the crown has 7 points, as the tree of life has 7 branches, and each point of the crown is adorned with a jewel, each a precious stone of a different color, each stone symbolizing. Hey, son, why are you always running down the stairs like you running from somebody? That's what it sounds like.
Because I kind of have a tilt when I come down the stairs.
You have a tilt. Yeah. You better not tilt too far, because you be coming in hot, buddy.
And plus, it's just so I did it when I was younger.
Isaiah was doing it yesterday and fell down the last half of the steps. He was laying on the floor.
Take some practice.
I heard that boy tell me, I was like, oh my God. I'm like, you okay? He laid. He did. He laid on the floor for a second. I had to stop laughing. I'm like, oh shoot, you okay? He was like, yeah. You know how dogs lay on the ground, go to sleep, legs out like this, both legs. That's how he was laying. He was like, Ma. He was doing like this. He was like, I can't move my legs. I'm like, but you're moving your legs to tell me you can't move your legs. I'm like, boy, get up. I said, quit running down them darn stairs. Oh, my kids. Boy, I tell you. Listen. All right, hold on. Okay. And the crown has 7 points, as the tree of life has 7 branches, and each point of the crown is adorned with a jewel, each a precious stone of different color, each stone symbolizing the fruit of the branch, symbolized by each point of the Kether HaKodesh, which is the holy crown. Elohim danced the dance of the letter Shin, and Elohim danced the dance of the letter Mem. Then Elohim made it Shin with Mem, and both Shin and Mem were crowned. Yea, Aleph was placed upon their heads. All of this within this name. Remember, Kether, crown. And both Shin and Mem were crowned. Yea, Aleph was placed upon their head. Lo, primal air, primal fire, and primal water, 3 creators in one Trinity. Behold, the dance of the 3 creative letters gave birth to the 7 double letters. Lo, the 7 double letters are each one letter with 2 voices, aspirated and unaspirated. They are Bet, Bet, Gimel, Gimel, Dalet, Dalet, Kaf, Kaf, Pei, Pei, Resh, Resh, Tav, Tav. The 7 doubles symbolize the way of ascension upon the golden ladder, which is the way of progress through the realms of 7, each realm having 7 heavens, a presiding star of each realm being the 7th heaven, the birth garden of each realm being the 1st heaven. I'm gonna read that again. And also with the 7 doubles, the way it's spelled, the second time it's pronounced, they always put an H in there. So it's Bet, B-E-T dash Bet, B-H-E-T. Then you have Gimel, G-I-M-E-L dash Gimel, G-H-I-M-E-L. Same thing all the way down. Dalet, Dalet, Kaf, Kaf, Pei, Pei, Resh, Resh, Tav, Tav. Right? Okay, the 7 doubles symbolize the divine way of ascension upon the golden ladder. Remember, the golden ladder is the ladder you climb, the spiritual ladder, climbing the chakras, cleaning the chakras up, the dirty pools of water, making them nice, clean, clear, and bright. Clear colors, red, orange. Roy G. Biv is the colors of the rainbow: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, all the way from the bottom to the top, from the root to the crown, right? One affects the other. You got to climb it from the root to the top. Think about climbing a ladder. You climb the spiritual ladder the same way, tapping into your chakras, the vortexes. They're also the spirals of light. The chakras are also vortexes, right? Vortexes within a bigger vortex of the vortex that we're surrounded by. Vortexes everywhere, right? But you have to climb it. You can't go from the red chakra all the way to the crown chakra, because you'll be all out of balance and you'll be crazy. You'll be speaking crazy, you'll be hearing crazy, you'll be seeing crazy, right? And it won't be in the line with your heart. You're going to be speaking all kinds of death and everything, right? So you got to get the heart chakra right before the throat chakra can flow smoothly, because what comes from here, what is in here, flows out of here, and so on and so forth, right? Each affects the next, which is why you have to climb it rung by rung. All right. The 7 doubles symbolize the divine way of ascension upon the golden ladder, which is the way of progress through realms of 7. Each realm having 7 heavens, the presiding star of each realm being the 7th heaven, the birth garden of each realm being the 1st heaven. Yea, this is the ascension through the realms of relatively crude matter and consciousness to realms of relatively refined matter and consciousness, each realm consisting of 7 heavens, each heaven a wheel within 12 spokes. We're going to, I thought it was going to be the last part. Okay. We got like 2 pages left. Okay. We at verse 100, and it's 122 verses. Okay. Bear with me, y'all. Behold, if a world becomes too crude to maintain its place in the heavenly hierarchy of ascending worlds, it will drop into the hierarchy of fallen worlds. We learned about that in deep detail in Owaspy. This is amazing. Behold, if a world becomes too crude to maintain its place in the heavenly hierarchy of ascending worlds, it will drop into the hierarchy of fallen worlds, and those fallen worlds are hell realms. And within each world are the divine attributes, which are the image and likeness of Jah, though in the lower realms few see them. Yea, and the divine attributes are symbolized by the roots and branches of the tree of life.
Don't tell me. Earth is a part of that group, aren't we?
What?
We're a part of that hell group, aren't we?
It would seem to be so. No. Well, no, technically, no. Earth is a school, right? It's a school. But you can experience realms of hell within this school, just like you can experience realms of heaven here as well. And as you progress, the lower heavens are, yeah, you can call them hell, right? Sometimes I refer to them as remedial classes, right? Detention, and you really send yourself there for real, for lack of growth, refusing to grow or refusing to help raise up others around you, completely being selfish, caring nothing about others, right? Like your grade is like probably imbecile. You're like way under. You definitely under 50. 50, a grade of 50, according to a WASP, that's an even balance. Half the stuff you do in life is for yourself. The other half you do for others. So you kind of even out. We want to tip the scales in a balance of doing more for others and helping others to grow, right? Doing something productive, leaving an impact or something. The more selfish you are, the more you hoard things to yourself, the lower your grade is according to spiritual rankings, and we all have them. And if y'all have not seen The Good Place, it's a TV series on Netflix. It is so good. And I think they got this numbering system with Owaspy, although they never mention Owaspy. It is really good. It's a hilarious series. And they find out that the good place is supposed to be heaven. Well, you know what? I ain't even gonna tell you. There's a ranch that I made. But yeah, I gotta get rid of it now. It's been in there too long. But I don't want to spoil it for you. But you when you get some free time, you gotta go watch it. It's really, really good. Yeah, I think you will really enjoy it, especially if you read through Owaspy, right? It's hilarious too. Okay. Okay, I'll start at verse 102. Let me go to 100. Behold, if a world becomes too crude to maintain its place in the heavenly hierarchy of ascending worlds, it will drop into the hierarchy of fallen worlds. And those fallen worlds are hell realms. And within each world are the divine attributes, which are the image and likeness of Jaja, though in the lower realms few see them. Yea, and the divine attributes are symbolized by the roots and branches of the tree of life. Bet is the beginning of the first heaven. Bet is the ending. Okay, so it's going through the double letters. Okay, so bet, B-E-T, is the beginning of the first heaven. And bet, B-H-E-T, is the ending. Gimel is the beginning of the second heaven. Gimel, G-H-I-M-E-L, is the ending. Dalet, D-A-L-E-T, is the beginning of the third heaven. Dalet, D-H-A-L-E-T, is the ending. Kaf is the beginning of the fourth heaven. Kaf with the H is the ending. Pe is the beginning of the fifth heaven. Pe with the H is the ending. Resh is the beginning of the sixth heaven. Resh is the ending. Tav is the beginning of the seventh heaven, and Tav is the ending. And each beginning is a doorway into the cellular of a heaven, and each ending of a doorway out of the upper room of a heaven. I'll read it again. And each beginning is a doorway into the cellar of a heaven, each ending a doorway out of the upper room of a heaven. Okay, so drive safe. Yet the beginning and the ending are always united by the spiral stairway, which is the golden ladder. Same thing with our digestive system, right? The beginning and then the ending, right? The backside, the beginning and ending, right? It's a stairway there, but it's always one. The beginning and the ending are always connected. They're always one. Let's see. And each beginning is a doorway into the cellar of a heaven, each ending a doorway out of the upper room of a heaven. Yet the beginning and the ending are always united by the spiral stairway, which is the golden ladder. Yea, because the seven doubles each one letter with two voices, one hard and one soft, with the hard moving through space and time to become a softer manifestation of the same self. They symbolize the ascension upon the golden ladder from the relatively crude and dark worlds of dense matter to the relatively refined and rarefied worlds of supernal light. Lo, the three creative letters that gave birth to the seven doubles also gave birth to the 12 letters of Ophan Zadek, the wheel of righteousness. And so after Ophan Zadek, which is O-P-H-A-N, then you have Zadek, T-Z-E-D-E-K. It's reference number 23. And 23 at the bottom says, the Hebrew word Ophan means wheel. The Hebrew word Zadek means righteousness. As is often the case in Hebrew, here the defined article ha, of, is implied rather than written. Here the term wheel of righteousness, Ophan Zadek, as will be made clear in the following verses, refers to the Nazarene version of the zodiac. With that in mind, it is interesting to note that the word Zedek, often transliterated into English as Zedek, sounds similar to the word zodiac, though linguistically unrelated. It could be that those who later chose the word zodiac were intentionally looking for a word in their language that sounded similar to the Nazarene term. Verse 114. Lo, the three creative letters that gave birth to the seven doubles also gave birth to the 12 letters of Ophan Zadek, the wheel of righteousness. Lo, the righteous wheel is also a revolving wheel, which is Ha Ophan Ha Gigol. And the revolving wheel is the wheel of times, seasons, and cycles, which is the wheel of constellations, which is Ha Ophan Ha Mazalat. Okay, so go back up at the end of verse 115. Ha Ophan Ha Giggle has reference number 24 after it, and that says at the bottom, the Hebrew term Ha Ophan Ha Giggle means revolving wheel. And then if you drop down to the end of verse 116, Ha Ophan Ha Mazalat is reference number 25. And it says the Hebrew term Ha Ophan Ha Mazalat means the wheel of constellations. Verse 117, behold, the revolving wheel has 12 spokes. The Shinane Asar Chish Shikim, and each spoke connects the hub with the rim, passing through every wheel of every whirl of the mother ovum. And after Shanaim Asar, Chish Shekim is reference number 26. 26 at the bottom says the Hebrew term Shanaim Asur, Chish Shekim means 12 spokes. When they say 12 spokes, I literally think about the zodiac. And how it looks like it's a circle. It looks like a wheel spoke, like a bike wheel with the spokes going through, but it's 12 with the 12 divisions, one for each zodiac, right? Okay. And each spoke connects the hub with the rim, passing through every level of every whirl of the mother ovum. And the 12 letters that symbolize the 12 spokes are He, Vav, Zayin, Het, Tet, Yod, Lamed, Nun, Semek, Ayin, Zadi, and Kuf. Right, and I showed y'all these letters before, but they have them up here again, just so you can see. It's the Hebrew letters right here. All right. Verse 120, we're almost done, y'all. Yea, the dance of Jade and Janah created and continues to create countless worlds, for it is Korah Ade Ad, the dance of an eternity of eternities. And Korah Ade Ad has reference number 27, and 27 at the bottom says the Hebrew term Korah Ade Ad means dance of an eternity of eternities. Verse 121, lo, the 12 spokes pass through countless worlds and countless constellations. In our world, we see the 12 spokes and 12 constellations, and each constellation is symbolized by a letter. Mazalat Tele, which is the constellation of the ram, letter Kuf. Mazalat Shor, which is the constellation of the bull, letter Lamed. Mazalat Tumim, which is the constellation of the twins, letter Ayin. Mazalat Sartan, which is the constellation of the crab, letter Zadi. Mazalat Ari, which is the constellation of the lion, letter Vav. Mazalat Betula, which is the constellation of the virgin, letter Het or Chet. Mazalat Maz Naim, which is the constellation of the scales, letter Semek. And y'all should know y'all sun sign, right? That's what is given. Mazalat Akrav, which is the constellation of the scorpion, which is the letter Tet. Mazalat Keshet, which is the constellation of the archer, the letter Zayin. Mazalat Gedi, which is the constellation of the goats, letter Hey. Mazalat Deli, which is the constellation of the water drawer, Yod. Mazalat Daga, which is the constellation of the fish, letter Nun. And that is the end of the reading, but it's reference number 28, which is a really long reference. It's like another whole paragraph. So we're going to read this reference and then we're going to be done. So Mazalat Daga, which is the constellation of the fish, is letter Nun, and it has reference 28. And 28 says, most of the correspondence between the constellations and the 12 letters that symbolize them are pretty obvious when you understand what each letter signifies. Nun signifies fish, and here symbolizes the constellation of the fish, Dega. Zayin signifies weapon, and here symbolizes the constellation of the archer, Kashet. Kuf signifies back of the head, and here symbolize the constellation of the ram, Tale. Lamet signifies ox gold, and here symbolizes the constellation of the bull, Shor. Zadi signifies fish hook, and here symbolizes the constellation of the crab. Sartan, the crab, uses his claws to hook fish. Hay signifies window, and here symbolizes the constellation of the goats. Getty, the symbology here needs a bit of explanation. Because goats climb high mountains, and because high mountains symbolize high levels of consciousness, the goat is for the Nazarene symbol of wisdom. You can even see that, and people getting a nickname the goat now. They probably don't even know. They just like you the man, you the goat, right? But it has so much of a deeper wisdom to it than what people even completely understand. Listen, hold on, let me go back. Hey, H-E-H, signifies window, and here symbolizes the constellation of the goat. Getty, the symbology here needs a bit of explanation. Because goats climb high mountains, and because high mountains symbolize high levels of consciousness, the goat is for the Nazarenes a symbol of wisdom. A window also symbolizes wisdom attained by climbing the mountain of consciousness, where each new level of awareness is like looking through a new window into a new room of the universe. Also of note, the word Getty, which means goat, comes from the Hebrew root for browse, which means to graze on tender, harmless foods such as grass, tender shoots, and the leaves of plants, symbolizing that the vegetarian diet is essential if one is to climb high upon the mount of consciousness. For without love, symbolized by the nonviolent diet, any knowledge gained will be used for wrong purposes. Oh, that's good. And you can test that. We've said this multiple times here. When you put away, if you still eating meat, you know what? Just move step by step, right? Try and do without it for a day. Then next time, try 3 days and try to go for a week, right? Then pick a month coming down the road, do 30 days without it. Then see if you can do 2, right? You just got to move step by step. But you're going to realize when you stop consuming flesh and blood and you get to a more plant-based diet, your spiritual insight grows multiple levels. It is amazing. You have to try. You can even watch videos that people have done on YouTube who have taken like the 30-day no meat challenge or the 30-day vegan challenge, whatever you want to name it. But they'll tell you that they found themselves becoming more spiritually sensitive. Some people wanted to break out and cry, didn't understand why. Like, it's amazing. Go do a little bit of research. And if you're still having a hard time with putting away the flesh and blood from your plate, don't fill your belly up with it, y'all. I used to be there. Listen, and I know it's hard for some people, but just as long as you accelerating, you progressing every day, take baby steps if you need to, but just keep stepping forward. No matter how small your step, just take a step. The next step will be followed after the first step, and so on and so forth. Just keep moving, even if you got a scoop. Okay, listen, let's finish talking about this goat. Hold on. Let me just go back. Okay. Hey signifies window, and here symbolizes the constellation of the goat, Getty. The symbology here needs a bit of explanation because goats climb high mountains, and because high mountains symbolize high levels of consciousness, the goat is for the Nazarene a symbol of wisdom. A window also symbolizes wisdom attained by climbing the mountain of consciousness. For each new level of awareness is like looking through a new window into a new room of the universe. Also of note, the word Getty, which means goat, comes from the Hebrew root for browse, which means to graze on tender, harmless foods such as grass, tender shoots, and the leaves of plants, symbolizing that the vegetarian diet is essential if one is to climb high upon the mount of consciousness. For without love, symbolized by the nonviolent diet, any knowledge gained will be used for wrong purposes. Iron signifies eyes, and here symbolizes the constellation of the twins or the Gemini, right? Iron signifies eyes, and here symbolizes the constellation of the twins, Tumen. Yod signifies the open hand, and here symbolizes the constellation of the water drawer, Deli, Deli. Tet, Tet, signifies snake or any similar poisonous or stinging serpent-like creature, including scorpions, and here symbolizes the constellation of the scorpion, Akraf. Chet signifies fence, and here symbolizes the constellation of the Virgin, Betula. Remember, we talked about Betula and what's the other one? It's right down the tip of my tongue. We was talking about Isaiah chapter 7. They talk about the virgin birth, right? In Hebrew, it talks about Betula, which is a woman who hasn't been touched or had any kind of sexual activity, a true virgin in the sense, like has not had her hymen broken. Betula, and then there was the other word, I forget it, but that just means young maiden, and that's what was used in the book of Isaiah, because that virgin right there, that young maiden, was not a woman who hadn't had sex. And if you look a little bit further, and in a footnote of your Bible, it will tell you that that virgin right there was actually the prophet Isaiah's wife. Nobody reads it. Nobody read the footnotes. You can go online and see that too. Listen, hold on. Chet signifies fence, and here symbolizes the constellation of the Virgin Betula, the idea being that the father of the Virgin keeps her within his gates, fence, until her marriage. Semek signifies prop or support, and here symbolizes the constellation of the scales, Maz Nayim. In this context, the prop or support is the centerpiece of the scale, which is the place of balance. Vav signifies hook or claw, and here symbolizes the constellation of the lion, Ari, Ari. And that, my beautiful people, is the end of our reading for today. That was pretty good and that was deep, huh? It did, right? I like your comment, Dawn. She said, eating flesh caused so much inflammation in my mind, body, and spirit. It absolutely did. Like, meat eaters just really don't understand what all the hype is about until they actually try, and then their whole outlook on life just begins to change, right? So you can't knock it till you try it. I'm a true believer of it. You can't apply that to everything, because everything you shouldn't try. But in that right there, because it'll only make your body better. It'll only make your spirit better. It'll only make your outlook on life, how you see, how you hear, how you perceive things. It only makes it better. All right, beautiful people. That's it for today. So, Father, we thank you for the spiral of light and the unending dance. Today, y'all, it is Monday, March the 27th, 2023, day number 1 of year 5 of reading through books, laws, and prophets. And of the consecutive day count, we are at day 1,384. Today, we read in Owaspy. We're still in the book of Apollo, son of Jehovah. We read chapters 12 and 13, which is pages 107 to 108 in big blue. And then we hopped on over here to the secret Nazarite scroll, also known as the Holy Megillah, the Nazarene Bible of the Essene Way. And we started at we only read chapter 6. All of that was just chapter 6. We read chapter 6 and all of its footnotes, which began in the newest updated version on page 25 to page 36. Your pages may or may not differ with the other version. So with that being said, beautiful people, that is it for today. Thank y'all for hanging out. I don't have anything. I'll take a picture of the couple things that I showed y'all, and I'll paste it like in the community section and in the Facebook group and stuff, just so you can see. I'm sure everybody know what these Hebrew letters and stuff look like. You can Google it, but I'll take a picture of it just so you can see. And I think there was a picture of something yesterday I was supposed to put up there too, but I forgot. Was it the day before yesterday? But anyway, that's it for today, y'all. I don't think anybody had any question. Great read, Sister Pam. Peace and blessings, beloved family. May the Creator be ever present with you all. Amen and amen. All right, beautiful people. I'm born on the cusp between the goat and Aquarius. Avia, shalom, shalom. All right, y'all. Let me see. I'm just scrolling through just to see, make sure I ain't missed no questions or nothing. Hold on. Okay, Dawn, hold on. We got to tune into your channel, sis. Dawn said she was talking to Avia. Glad you asked. Megillah will go on into meditation later. However, I started with a YouTube channel. Oh, I thought I read that wrong. I thought you said you started a YouTube channel, but you said you started with a YouTube channel called Boho, Beautiful Meditation. She is so good. Don't be hard on yourself. Oh, I'm about to say, sis, what time you be on? Cosmine Cal, he said, just know that prayer and meditation are opposites. Then pick which style of meditation that fits you. I personally use meditation, but find what works for you. I agree with that. Listen, nowadays, I'm more on the side of Cosmine. Like, seriously, because before I started learning all of this and I'm understanding about sound and vibration, my prayer time, I still call it prayer time, but it takes on the look of meditation with using sound and vibration and om and aim, and sometimes I'll hum. Sometimes I just may repeat the Creator's name, right? It just looks different and it's more enriching. I just understand so much more now. And so I had to change. I could not stay the same with the more things that I learned. All right. Speaking of zodiac, I don't think the new year actually started. The sun is not with Aries yet. I think March 20th, being the equinox, is a lie. The sun was out 12 hours on the Thursday before the 20th. Good observation, Jamil. Good observation. All right. That's right. No eating of animal backs. Cosma. All right. So the Phoenician alphabet is a heaven. What? So the Phoenician alphabet is a heaven. I don't think I'm getting what you're saying. Hold on. I saw your comment come in when you said it, but I don't know. I'm still not get what you're saying. You thinking about it. I don't know. I don't understand everything yet. I'm reading with y'all. All right, beautiful people. You definitely watched the replay. I experienced tuning fork therapy last Friday. Line those chakras right up. Oh, that sounds like fun. I would try that. You know what I do sometimes? I use and y'all go ahead and get out here if y'all gotta go to work. I'm about to get out here anyway too, because I gotta go take a nap. I ain't been asleep since yesterday morning. But I like some of the and I actually have one. My sister has a set of them. She has tuning bowls, like you see, like with the bowl and stuff or whatever. But it's like tuning your body from the outside. You can do the same thing when you hum, right? Like when you're doing prayer, chanting, or whatever, it's the same thing. You just got different tools to bring your body and your spirit into alignment. But yeah, I bet that was good. I would like to try that one time. All right, beautiful people. That's it for today. Iman, bless you too. Love y'all. Bless up. Create a gain. Gain in the house. We out. I love y'all. And I'll see y'all back here tomorrow morning, bright and early, 6:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace.